Welcome to the Vault Archons. I am the Keeper of Keys, Kraz, and today we're actually going to open these boxes up. Now, some of them didn't turn out as well as I was hoping. Apparently, I was slightly wrong about electrical tape damaging cardboard. Big shocker there. Not perfect. I do make mistakes. So it did take some of the paper off on some of these. Part of that is because of the glue. The glue was stuck to part of the tape. Some of it just took it off. These are the ones that I wasn't as careful with, and now the ones that I was far more careful with, right? They took very little damage when taking the tape off. You know, they did take a tiny bit, but that's kind of the difference. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to kind of open these up. Now let's see, this one. It's more of the damage on the inside that we care about. So let's see, this one's the super glue. So now, because it's super glue, it's not going to want to peel up. Like, you literally have to, like, see how you can see like this really damaged section of the cardboard. Right, relative, and I had to really peel at this. It didn't come up easily. It didn't want to just peel right up. Now, if you use less super glue, it's going to peel up a little bit easier, but it's still super glue. It's still going to leave a kind of a distinctive staining. And then, you know, it literally is this chunk of, you know, it's not like the, you know, it's not like the factory glue at all. So it's going to be, super glue just is not, you know, if somebody uses super glue. Now these ones, this is more of a craft glue. Now this peels up a little bit easier, but again, you know, it's taking up a larger section. It flattens out, so it causes this kind of flattened section that it peels up with it. And then we'll, you know, we will see the other ones. You know, it causes this kind of flattened area that you don't find on the normal boxes. You know, where it's a big chunk out of the box itself. And again, you know, another one. Now the normal boxes peel up much easier than this. They don't stick together like this. You know, it's just different. Now this one, you know, I can't even get the I can't even get the cardboard separated there. So now what we're going to do with these is I'm going to peel up half, and the other half I'm just going to cut off the box. And I'm doing this so that I can show the peeling and the cross section. So this one is a little bit better. But again, now this is closer to what you would expect from their glue pattern, right? But then when you try and get this piece off so you can see the actual glue pattern, right? With their glue pattern, it's a lot easier to get to, right? But here it's a lot messier. You can kind of see the additional glue in there. All right, you can see the added glue. Now here's the old glue line right here. Right, and then here's the added glue, and so we're also going to take this cross section off of here. I'm literally going to cut this off, and then we're going to cut this. So let's see if I can find a section where there is a bunch of glue. So here you can see the kind of sandwiched material, right? And it's more flattened again. So this is much closer to what you would expect when you're starting to look at the glue lines. I was very careful with these, and so it does approach the glue line significantly closer. And now, of course, this part didn't get glued at all. This one just came right apart. So, and then we're gonna check this other one. So one side's already coming apart just by cutting through it. This right here is already coming apart. Now you can see the glue. See how it's got the double glue. You can see this is part of the old glue, and then you've got the newer glue, right, layered on top of it. So it's got this, like I said, it's got this kind of sandwiched look that you don't have in their normal glue. Now this is like I said, this is much harder to tell than the ones that I wasn't very careful with. So you know, you're gonna have to be pretty careful when you look at these. You know, and then you come in, and here's another one where, so you can see right there how it's got the slightly different, you know, it's peeling up because here's where some of the glue spilled over towards the edge and peeled this up, right? And here's the old glue line here, right? New glue line is taking the whole section next to it. So, and then you take the, you know, again, you know, see, now this is a little bit closer. Now, and as I showed before, you have the very specific glue pattern from the machine that these are not going to replicate, you know, where they kind of have this flatter. Now, like I said, you can get it closer, you know, you can definitely get it closer, but they're not going to have the same pattern. Somebody's really going to have to try, you know, and here's a great example of how the glue kind of sandwiches together. You know, it makes a different piece altogether. Now, like I said, these were better. I used less glue on these smaller boxes, you know, where I cut them apart. You know, these are much closer, right, to the actual glue pattern. But you can see it's not a really fine line relative, and I was very careful when I opened these up again. And then you can also see like artifacts from the glue, right, that you don't see on the normal box openings. When you normally open a box, you don't get a lot of these kind of unusual artifacts, you know, that you're getting. Now, like I said, this is a lot closer, but you can see here where the glue kind of came out a little bit, spilled over just a tiny bit. And all it takes is these little errors like across the entire bottom of the box, and you will end up being able to tell that the box itself was messed with. So like I said, it's going to be really hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's not doable, but it's going to be super difficult. And to just give an example of the actual just regular glue, right? Now this is not going to be the same as the bottom of the box. And at a future date, I'll open some more boxes and I'll show, you know, the newer boxes that I'm getting, and I'll show how the glue pattern is still kind of consistent, right? And this is the top of the box, right? And so it's just got this, you know, again, it's got this little bead, right? But it doesn't have that kind of strange look to it. And this is just the regular, normal glue that they're putting this thing together with, right? Now this up towards the top looks more sandwiched than it is on the bottom. The bottom is a much finer bead. But like I said, overall, the boxes are just going to look different when they start messing with the glue, right? They're just gonna start making it look wrong. Never mind, this piece doesn't have glue, and it's just well, maybe it does. I can't tell. Oh no, this is just cardboard. Okay, so, but there you go. That's you know, that's how the boxes are going to kind of change as you start messing with the glue. It's just, you're not going to be able to get it perfect. Now, I'm not going to discount human ingenuity, human ability. People are going to do a really good job if they work at it and do it a lot. But when they first do it, it's going to be all messed up. So early on, it's going to look worse. Later on, it's going to look closer. But it's very unlikely that anybody who's opened a serious number of these boxes, when they just peel the bottom and look at it, it's very unlikely that it's not going to be something that they can tell. By far, there's a very specific way these things rip open. they almost always leave kind of just a little tag, not even this thick. It's like a really thin paper slice that you guys saw me peeling off last time, that you can then peel off and you can see the whole bead. It looks very, very clean, and it's very consistent and uniform. There's the few tiny errors that ever do exist are incredibly tiny. I never saw anything spilling anywhere near the edges of the box or the inside of the box, or it peels a very specific way. It just feels different, and so as you can see, like I said, it's just not the same. It's not the same at all. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that somebody couldn't get it really, really close. It's very possible. As you can see, I got it relatively close on this one, right? Now, of course, I did cut half the box off for other reasons, but it is possible to get it close. But I still think that it's going to be really hard for somebody who has opened these, seen them a lot, to not know the difference. And so if you show like some of these boxes online, where you think it's been glued, and you take pictures of the before and after results, odds are anybody who's opened enough of these or has looked at them a decent amount is going to know it's been reglued. An expert is going to know it's been reglued. The odds that, like I said, the odds are going to get away with it, extremely low. But just pay attention. Look for that small glue bead. Look for the tiny little bit of paper it kind of takes up with it that's easy to then peel off. That little bit of paper isn't hard to peel off, and it is not a solid piece of paper like this. It is a tiny sliver of paper, thinner than a sheet of paper. I mean, it really is very thin, very, very light, and it's very easy, to tell what it is. And with none of this glue did it peel up in any way like that. It had a very different kind of paper layer. This one right here was probably the closest, but then it did a tremendous amount of damage outside of the paper area. So just be aware, pay close attention. It is going to be pretty easy to tell. Now, of course, obviously, I did a lot of damage to the external of some of these boxes when I was doing it, as you can see. But, somebody who's doing a good job, it is going to look pretty decent. But I just don't think that, unless they literally do thousands of boxes, peel them open until they get one that peels the right way and feels the right way, and they may. I'm not discounting that they may do that. But the odds that somebody's going to manage to do that is just really low, because you would have to do it so many times that it's just unlikely. Especially with now, it depends on how big this print run is. If this print run's gigantic, they're going to have more opportunities to perfect their shady practices. But there would have to be a lot of printing of this for them to really perfect that. So just be aware, and this is kind of what they look like once you open them again, using this kind of re-gluing. Honestly, I wouldn't be that concerned. Just pay attention, and it's very unlikely that you're going to see anything that looks real if it's re-glued. And if you do, please do let me know, because I would love to be able to see and keep track of people trying to do shady practices and how close they get, so that we can keep people up to date on how close the scammers get to being able to reproduce the real deal. So thank you very much, and have a great day.